All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Bierstadt Lagerhaus, and they are headquartered in Denver, Colorado, and this is their Helles. So on the label here, they're calling this one a fresh lager, and it is also known as a German-style Helles lager that comes in at 4.9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is just over 3.5 months old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Sierra Hotel, for this beer, so big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me an epic beer mail that contained 28 unique beers and meads. Included in that was an entire 4-pack of Bierstadt goodness. I already reviewed their slow pour pils, fantastic German style pilsner. Even though it kind of gushed on me and was kind of all over the place with carbonation, it was still absolutely phenomenal. And now we got their Helles. So if you know me, you know that when it comes to lighter colored lagers from Germany, Helles, my favorite. Pretty much lighter colored lagers in general, Helles, my favorite. I just love the complex bready character from the malt, and it's exactly what I want. So I'm hoping this is better than the slow pour pils, but I don't know. This is the other one they're known for. Slow pour pils is also kind of like their flagship beer. Anyway, this can does feel tight, so we'll see if it gushes. I do have my trusty paper towels to the side here. We'll see. I don't know if it does. We're gonna have to take care of it. It's coming out a little bit, but nothing to make do about. So let's give it a pour here. I'm not going to go aggressive a little bit to start with, and now we're going to slow it down a little bit. I know they do the whole slow pour, especially for the slow pour pils. I'm not going to do that here, but I'm going to do something like that. Man, that looks beautiful in the fucking glass. It really does. Oh, man. So this is a little bit fresher than the other one I drank at just over 3.5 months old. Boys and girls, that is a fucking beautiful looking beer. Look at that beer. Maybe a little bit too much head there, but I think for what this beer is supposed to be, it looks fucking phenomenal. Yeah, basically almost 3 fingers of this off-white, super, like, it looks maybe a little bit soap sudsy to me, but like, man, it just looks like a beautiful creaminess. The clarity is through the roof. You can definitely see my hands through the other side. It has this beautiful golden orange color. Maybe like, well, we'll say more like a golden, in between like a golden, I just say golden color, all right? I was gonna say golden orange, golden yellow, whatever, it's gold. Decent carbonation. We'll see if we can do a little bit better here with the, you don't really, I mean, trust me, it looks pretty good in the glass. You can see the carbonation bubbles spiking up there. So, beautiful. Let's get a nose. I don't have a dance, okay? I don't have a dance. If I did have a dance, I would be dancing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Listen, maybe I'm just somebody who overrates Helles at this point, because Helles Lager's on my jam. The nose is spectacular. It's that complex sourdough. It's, again, I think when I get a good Helles, or a great Helles, it has a complex, rustic sourdough bread vibe, both in the aroma and the taste, that has like a slight honey drizzle on it, maybe ever so slight like toasty kind of quality, but not really. Big lemon zest, lemongrass. That red apple skin I talk about, or like just a tannic red apple, closer to the core or the skin, one of the two. Not really like a sweet red apple, just like a red apple kind of character without the sweetness. An absolutely phenomenal grassy, spicy herbaceousness too from the hops. That sulfuric funk that a lot of these styles are known for is here, but it's not overwhelming. Holy fuck, dude. Pour a little bit more in here. I mean, boys and girls, that just looks like a beer that I just want to chug. This beer right here, chug it, chug a lug. Anyway, I want to get into it. Thank you, Sierra Hotel. This smells like a spectacular Helles. It really does. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Sierra Hotel. Prost. Yep. And yep. If I lived in Colorado, and more specifically Denver, I'd be drinking all of this. I'd be at Bierstadt all the time. buying the slow pour pills, buying the Helles, and just having them as fridge beers. We'll talk about price point to end, but their price point is some of the best that I've seen for the quality that's coming out of their brewery. All right, body mouthfeel. Buying this is like medium touch over, full body for 4.9%, 100%. But like, again, medium touch over medium as a whole. The mouthfeel is crisp, it's clean, it's refreshing, it's crushable. It's incredibly clean actually on the palate. And what I love about this beer specifically, the dryness is superb and it does have a little bit more of a bitterness. Now, stylistically, you do want a little bit of bitterness here, definitely some dryness. You want it to be balanced, but this seems to be like almost flawless in terms of the balance. Like it's everything. It's like nice, sweet, bready, complex, citrus, a little bit of fruitiness, but then on the finish, that grassy, spicy, and herbaceous hop character. Then it kind of dries out. This is a treat to drink. So right at the forefront, it's that complex bread. Again, a rustic sourdough bread. There's a little bit of, again, a slight mild, like almost toasty quality, a little bit of like a honey kind of character. I feel like I've mentioned this before, but like sourdough bread with a little bit of a honey drizzle on it. Maybe even a touch of like orange marmalade, because I'm getting a little bit of like citrus character that's like lemon zest, orange zest. It's really complex at the first half of the palate. Like that malt character is so kind of just like expressive. That's what I like. That's what I like about this style. I love the malt character being as complex, expressive, and just bold. Halfway through the palate, a little bit of that lemongrass, touch of that red apple, closer to the core, I'd say, of the taste. You could say white pear, maybe even like a dried apricot, some kind of just like fruit quality that isn't like overly sweet or like outside the box of what the style is known for. And then the finish. It has more of a grassiness than anything, but then it has this nice spicy herbaceous kind of quality to the hop character as well. Finishes bone dry, and it's not bone dry in that like it's sapping my entire palate of any kind of saliva, and like it's just like, oh my god, I gotta go back for another sip. But it has a perfect dryness for me, which is really what's making this beer and putting it over the top. It also has a mild to moderate bitterness from that hop character, which it just really balances out all that sweet malty goodness at the forefront. As you can see, I'm tearing this up. I drink liters of this. It's one of those beers that's so easy to crush. If I didn't want to think about this, I wouldn't have to. But it's a beer worth thinking about. There are some breweries, and I've reviewed one. I don't know when you're going to see this review in conjunction to the Stone Cloud Light that I did from the Stone Cloud Brewing Company. That was just American Light Lager, and they're like, I forget the spiel, but it was like, this is a beer made for drinking, not to think about and ponder and whatnot. And that beer was one of the best American Light Lagers I had, which was kind of funny because it did have some good flavor to it. But a lot of these beers, that's you're just throwing back, whole mugs of it, whole liters, maybe entire whatever, right? You're throwing back a bunch of different pours on tap. Maybe you're taking down an entire 4-pack, whatever the case may be. But you can still sit here and appreciate it for its flavors and what's coming out of the beer. And that's where a beer like this really gets into the upper echelon for me. It just does. 4.9%. It doesn't drink like it, but most of these well-brewed Helles lagers do not drink anything like they should in terms of ABV. It almost, a lot of these sub 6% beers don't even taste like alcohol, but this drinks, flavor-wise, like a bigger beer, like 6.5%, 7%, but it's totally not. That sulfuric funk, lager funk, didn't really carry over in taste, maybe a little bit of it. Maybe a little bit on the finish. This is one of those beers where I could just drink a lot. As you can see, I drank pretty much half the can already, and I could drink the entire can on camera and wouldn't even think twice about it. But I'm not going to, because I got a single can and I'm going to savor it. So, rating on the Bierstadt Helles. High 4.5 and go 4.6 out of 5. Might be the highest rating I gave to Helles. I reviewed the Haas Helles from Berry House out of Tampa, and I said that was one of the best Helles lagers I've had to date. This is better than that by a little bit, but they're both fucking phenomenal, top tier, world class American brewed Helles lagers. No questions asked. So, and I love the fucking logos, or the logos, the artwork. I think it's fantastic. Price point availability. I didn't pay for it, but I looked at their website. $12 a 4-pack. $12 a 4-pack. It's $3 a can. Every place should be able to sell $12 a 4-pack. If they can do it, listen, I love Human Robot. I love Schilling. There's a lot of people kicking out great Helles lagers, but they're $16 4-pack, $17 4-pack, $18 4-pack. If Bierstadt's doing it for $12 4-pack and they're doing quite well, I don't see why anybody else couldn't. So, and they're in Colorado. I don't know how they're, the prices, you can compare them to Florida, you can compare them to New York or PA, but it can't be much more or much cheaper there. Or it's probably more expensive. It is Denver, Colorado. I don't know. I just know if they can do it for $12 4-pack, I don't see why a lot of these breweries can't do it for 14 or less. So phenomenal price point for something of this quality at a 4.6 out of 5. Easily $3 a can, yes. And then availability, pretty sure Colorado. I don't know outside of that. Never seen them here in the Buffalo, New York area, but yeah, I really like their stuff. And I will say, and I'll mention this at the end because I'm always honest with you guys, Bierstadt reached out after I reviewed the slower pull pills, and they said they didn't want to see me review older lager. They want to see me review fresh lager. So I was talking to somebody from Bierstadt, but the communication has been kind of dry for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I asked Sierra Hotel if it was okay if I didn't review some of the Bierstadt beers because they were substantially older. He said that's cool. If they're sending you fresh beer, it's cool. They have not sent me any fresh beer. They haven't really talked to me in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm going to review the other beers I have from Sierra Hotel. He's nice enough to go out of his way to send me the beer, and I'm going to review it. And even though these are older and probably Bierstadt doesn't want to see the older reviews, let me just say, Bierstadt, if you watch this, your fucking beers hold up. Like the 2 beers that I've reviewed now have been substantially old. This is over 3.5 months old. The slower pull pills was like just under 5 months old. And these taste like they're, 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old. It definitely tastes fresh. However, if Bierstadt wants to send me some fresh lager to revisit to show you guys the difference or see if there is a difference, I'm on board. But, Sierra Hotel is such a gracious dude. He sent me the 4-pack. I'm going to review them. Their Heller box is going to be like 7 months old, maybe 7.5 months old when I review it. So be it. Sometimes you can't. It's not a perfect world. It is what it is. But I want to let you guys know that they did reach out to me. But this is still the can that Sierra Hotel sent my way. And I'm glad he did because this is a phenomenal Helles lager that I wish I had more of. So anyway, if you've had this one before, anything from Bierstadt, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. I'm going to shut this one down. Such a clean beer, so crisp, so refreshing. This would be like the ultimate like tailgating, like, coming into the fall season now or football starting. You go to a tailgate, I could crush like a 4-pack of this and not even blink an eye. It's fantastic. Anyway, thanks again to Sierra Hotel. Thanks everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Cheers. Prost.